America's greatest automotive revolution is not happening on highways. It is not happening in showrooms, and it is not announced with roaring engines or flashy commercials. It is happening quietly, behind massive factory walls, beneath layers of software, and inside systems most people will never see. While the world argues about electric cars versus gasoline, while headlines focus on brands and models, something far more important is unfolding in silence. A transformation so deep that it's changing not just how cars are powered, but how they are conceived, built, and understood. This is not a story about one company. It is not a story about one technology. This is the story of how America is rebuilding the very foundation of the automobile, without anyone noticing. Most people imagine car factories the same way they did decades ago. Endless conveyor belts, deafening noise, sparks flying, workers repeating the same motion thousands of times a day. That image is outdated. Step inside a modern American automotive plant today, and the first thing you feel is not chaos. It is calm. The air is clean. The floors are polished. The machines move with deliberate precision. There is no single assembly line anymore. Instead, vehicles move freely through the space, guided by invisible digital systems that track every component, every task, and every second. Cars are no longer dragged through production. They navigate it. This is not manufacturing as people remember it. This is orchestration. The greatest shift in American car manufacturing did not begin with electric motors. It began with software. Modern factories now operate like living systems. Every robot, every tool, every vehicle is connected through high-speed private networks that process massive amounts of data in real time. If a robot senses resistance, it adjusts instantly. If a component is misaligned, production reroutes automatically. If demand changes, the factory reconfigures itself. Decisions that once required weeks of planning now happen in milliseconds. The factory is no longer a static place. It is an adaptive intelligence. There is a popular fear that automation erased the human worker. The reality is more complex. Humans are still here, but their role has fundamentally changed. They no longer perform repetitive labor. They supervise systems. They interpret data. They solve problems machines cannot. A single technician today oversees processes that once required hundreds of workers, not because people became obsolete, but because their value shifted upward. The factory did not eliminate humans. It redefined them. Perhaps the most radical change is flexibility. In the past, factories were rigid. They were built for one purpose, one model, one powertrain. Change was expensive. Adaptation was slow. Today, a single American factory can build gasoline cars, hybrids, and fully electric vehicles on the same floor on the same day. Different platforms, different architectures, different technologies, all managed by one intelligent system. This is not efficiency. This is survival. There was no ceremony, no announcement, no final shutdown. The traditional assembly line simply became irrelevant. Instead of cars moving past fixed stations, stations now move to the car. Autonomous platforms deliver parts exactly when needed. Robotic arms reposition themselves dynamically. Production flows around obstacles instead of stopping for them. The line no longer controls the car. The car controls the line. This single shift changed everything. Electric vehicles did not just replace engines. They shattered assumptions. Without transmissions, exhaust systems, or fuel tanks, the very structure of the car changed. Batteries became structural elements. Motors became compact and modular. Software became central. Factories designed for combustion could not simply adapt. They had to be reinvented, and America chose reinvention. Inside modern plants, there is a moment engineers call the marriage. This is when the body of the car meets its powertrain, whether electric or gasoline. But today, this process is almost silent. Robots lower entire battery packs into place with millimeter precision. Automated systems align components using vision sensors more accurate than the human eye. Bolts are tightened to exact torque values recorded permanently in the vehicle's digital record. Every car leaves the factory with a complete manufacturing history embedded in data. This is not assembly, it is documentation of perfection. Once, a car was just metal and rubber. Today, every vehicle has a digital twin. From the moment it begins production, thousands of data points are collected: temperature, alignment, torque, timing. Years later, engineers can trace a single component back to the exact second it was installed. If a defect appears, it is not guessed, it is traced. This is why modern recalls are faster. This is why quality keeps rising. This is why failures are becoming rarer. Cars are no longer built blindly. They are built transparently. Because nothing looks dramatic from the outside. Cars still have wheels. They still have doors. They still look familiar. The change is internal. It lives in processes, systems, and data, not in appearance. Revolutions that change structure rarely announce themselves. They simply replace what came before. While consumers debate brands, countries are competing on something deeper: manufacturing adaptability. The ability to reconfigure factories faster than competitors determines who leads the next century of mobility. America understands this. That is why its factories are no longer designed around products, but around possibilities. Gas today, electric tomorrow, something else next decade. The system is ready. Modern factories operate on private networks more advanced than many cities. Sensors track vibration, heat, wear, and motion. Machines communicate continuously. Software predicts failures before they happen. Maintenance is no longer reactive. It is predictive. Downtime becomes rare. Waste shrinks. Precision increases. This is not science fiction. This is daily reality. American car culture was once defined by horsepower, noise, and rebellion. Now, it is defined by intelligence, adaptability, and scale. Power is no longer just mechanical. It is systemic. America did not abandon its automotive identity. It upgraded it. The next decade will bring new energy sources, new regulations, and new expectations. But the hardest part is already complete. The infrastructure is built. The systems are in place. The factories are ready. Whatever the future demands, America can manufacture it. And that is the real revolution. History often remembers explosions, but the most important transformations happen silently, in planning rooms, in code, in factories that never stop evolving. America did not announce the future of cars. It simply started building it. And by the time most people notice, they will already be driving inside it.